Well, folks, how you doing? This is Jay Rodriguez, and I'm here with my brother Robert Lucas, author of 231 Ways to Say I Love You. And this is another edition of World 2016 from the Bilingual Broadcasting Network. Robert, welcome to my show, brother.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Well, Robert, we were talking off camera, so we could jump right into the meat of this. It is interesting. 231 Ways to Say I Love You. Brother, how did you come up to that magic number?
I was afraid you were going to ask me that. It actually started out as 100, and from there it just grew as I started going through thinking of ideas. A lot of what I put in this book are things that I've used over the years personally. I'm sort of a romantic at heart, and I like to do things, especially since I've been married. Okay. I like to add things that can add a little bit of spice to the relationship, add a little love to the relationship, show that I care, and I'm always looking for new ideas to do that.
And Robert, that blessing of being married, how long have you been married?
28 years in December.
Wow, 22 years for me. So yes, and right, it is a beautiful honeymoon for those 28 years, right?
Absolutely.
That is true. Well, brother, again, it is a very interesting book, and I like the tagline, and mean it. Why is it that you think that, do you think that these youth of now have love, but they don't mean it? You know, the millennials. Tell us about that romanticism that you were talking about me. Is it something that is only for those born between the baby boomers? Is it for Generation X, the millennials? This book is for everybody, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, as you go through some of the acknowledgments in the front of the book, or one of my friends who's been married 51 years.
Oh.
And she said, she wrote in her acknowledgement that she actually learned a few ideas that she was going to go back and start using, because the book was really designed for anyone in a relationship. It's designed for people who they love someone, they care about someone, but maybe we get caught up in life so much that we forget what's the most important part of our life, and really it's our family, our relationship that we're involved in. And hopefully the ideas in this book are designed that people can remind themselves. Just pick up the book, flip to any page and say, I'm going to do that today, or I'm going to do that this week, because it's so easy to get lost in the life fast lanes that we get ourselves into, and so I wanted to provide opportunities and a resource for people maybe that they could use.
Yeah, because right now, as we've once we were young and we had hair, and it wasn't that don't go there, right? We viewed life differently than now. That leads me to a question: how long did it take you to write this book? Is this something that you derive out of your years of experience, or this was something that you sat down and hammered it out? What was the thought process?
Well, actually, I've been a trainer for 40 years and a performance consultant, and I've dealt with people, and I've interacted with people in all sorts of environments. I've owned several companies of my own. I'm heavily involved in customer service. I have the top-selling customer service textbook in the country with McGraw-Hill. And what I did with this book was to sort of encapsulate my knowledge of people. And I talk in the book about communication and the importance of communication, and I give tips on how do you bring back that communication and relationship. I talk about trust building. It's the key to any relationship, whether it be a marriage or whether it be someone who's just getting together, or in a business such as you and I. You have to trust the people you're with.
You have to build relationships. Just like you build your relationship with your loved ones, you have to build your relationships in business, and that's your experience. How many years have you been doing this, brother?
I've been doing the training for almost 40 years in various organizations. I broke out on my own and started doing consulting in 1999. I used to be the manager of training at AAA National here in Orlando, and decided that I was going to start writing books back in 1994, and I've written 38 books, and that's my 36th book. And so I continue to try to use the knowledge I have and experience to hopefully help other people, because we all can use help, obviously.
That is true.
And I'm certainly not the expert, but I've got a lot of ideas.
Well, for 40 years, brother, you know more than me, you know? Okay. And, brother, like we were talking about, what else in the book, if you could share with us some of your thoughts that you have in the book, so that way our viewers, and let me just really say something in Spanish really quick. Para mi gente que habla en español, acuérdate que el señor Robert W. Lucas es el escritor de esta obra que ven aquí, este librito que ustedes ven aquí, y vamos a traducir, van a haber traducciones de qué es lo que él hace, qué es lo que puede hacer por usted, pero acuérdese que es en inglés, it's in English, but it's a lot of help, va a ser de mucha ayuda. Okay, Robert, let's share something with what you're saying in the book.
Well, I have a variety of tips in here. You asked me earlier how I got to 231. It actually started as 100 ways to say I love you. And as I got into the book, I started thinking, well, it would make more sense to divide this into some categories. And that's what I actually did. I focused on categories such as communication, surprising your loved one, bringing back the passion, strengthening the communication. So in each of those subsections, I came up with tips that they might use. And a lot of books that you buy like this, they'll have a laundry list, 1,001 ways to say I love you, and it's just like a laundry list, and as you start going through, you start seeing the same thing repeated but paraphrased in a different way. So I took a different approach, being an educator and a trainer. I gave the idea, but I sort of explained the process behind it. For example, when I talked about trust, I talk about all relationships are built on trust, require commitment on both parties. And I went on to explain trust a bit and the importance in relationships, but then I gave some strategies of how do you do that. I talk about listening openly and some ways to accomplish that. I talk about keeping your word. If you promise you're going to do something, do it, because that can destroy trust in a heartbeat, and people stop depending on you if you don't follow through.
It's a saying says, your trust is your bond, your word is your bond.
Absolutely. Being truthful, being open to change, empathizing with your loved one. Those are all things that we can do, and absolutely supporting your loved one. So in that little section, I cover a lot of different life skills, as I call them. As I went through, I got into other areas. I didn't go into as much academic, if you will, because I didn't want it to be a heavy read. But those two things, communication and trust, I think are so crucial. That's why I wanted to put a little more effort into those, or a little more knowledge into that. I also went through and I identified some topic areas, like tapping the element of surprise. Little things you can do. People say, well, I don't have the money, or I don't have a lot of time to do things, or to, which I think is ridiculous, because you love this person, you care for this person, you make time for what's important to you, is my personal belief, and I've always tried to do that. So little tips like write I love you on a piece of fruit, a banana or something. If you know your spouse eats a banana in the morning, get a magic marker, write I love you on it, and put it in a bowl at their place. So it's just a way of easily saying I love you, reminding them.
Robert, is it very important in a relationship, any relationship, to have pure and good communication?
Oh, it's positively important.
So it could be in the banana, it could be in the toilet paper. Nah. But something where it would be unexpected for her or him to be able to see that.
Absolutely.
And that would make the day for any woman, because I know that if they say I love you to, I had a lot of friends that they have relationships, and when they say I love you to the girls, especially the Latinas, they love that. So if you're married to a Puerto Rican girl or a Latina girl, say I love you a lot.
It works for the guys too.
Yeah, that works for the guys.
It's not just the women.
It's not gender specific.
Absolutely.
All right, to be political correct here.
Absolutely.
All right, brother, keep on. Tell me a little bit more.
All right, well, let me flip over here to another section. Recapture the passion and sensuality in your relationship.
Very important.
Being spontaneously intimate. How many of us get so caught up in our routine that we actually have to schedule a date to make love? And to me,
we have to put it in Google Outlook, and we have it. It's make out today. Oh,
that's
wow.
right. Don't
we
forget.
We kind of like we have to have be spontaneous and get that spark back, because
Exactly.
it's like, oh yeah, at 6 o'clock we gotta go to the bedroom. No, that's not good. That's not good.
I mean, and it's good to have a date night or something that evolves into that, but also be spontaneous. Come in from work or where are you shopping or wherever you've been, and just grab your spouse, significant other, and give them a big hug.
I always remember that movie.
Tell them you love them.
I always remember that movie, Pretty Woman.
Yes.
With Richard Gere and
yeah.
Julia Roberts, where she only had all she had was the tie.
Yeah.
Yes. They got to copy more of that. And brother, what else with the spontaneous with it being spontaneous?
All right. Well, there's other ways you can do that. Obviously, falling asleep. A lot of times, one of the things that and this is not so much spontaneous. It's more of a way to communicate, keeping that communication flowing. My wife and I, every night, we've adopted a process where before we go to bed, or before we go to sleep rather, lying in bed, we're facing each other obviously, hugging, holding hands, doing whatever, and we're looking in each other's eyes, and we tell them, I love you, and here's one of the reasons I love you. We tell them what it is about them we like. Or we thank them for something that we appreciate they've done that day or that week or whatever, and why. Because a lot of times we say, well, I love you because you always do things for me. Well, that's nice. Give me some specific examples and tell me why that's important to you, though, because then I'm more likely to continue to do those kinds of things.
That is true.
So I try to, again, tap into some of my training experience and share ideas. Just another one real quickly, maximize your time spent together. We don't have enough fun, in my opinion. One of the things I have in here, number 168, is have fun together. And this could be, you know, if it's snowing, build a snowman. In Florida, we don't have much of that, obviously.
Rake some leaves?
Exactly, rake the leaves together. Rather than saying, well, that's your job, you go rake the leaves, well, let me help you. And, you know, get out there and throw leaves at each other. You know, just do something spontaneous. Go for a swim in a local river. Roast some marshmallows or make some s'mores if it's cold enough to do that, or if you're doing something. Just open a bottle of wine and sit and watch a romantic movie together, or a sensual movie together. And that ties into some of the other tips that were in the book here. Fall asleep spooning and cuddling with one another. You know, it doesn't have to lead anywhere. It just shows the closeness. It shows I love you. You've got the physical contact. Help make the bed and have a pillow fight. You know, spontaneously. You know, you see all these things where feathers are flying all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's a little extreme, but if it happens,
If you have a good vacuum cleaner, go for it. If not,
it happens, it happens, you know. So, you know, those kinds of things I think are important.
Hey, brother, another thing, Robert, where can my viewership get a hold of you? What's your website? Are you in social media? How can people get a hold of you?
All of the above.
And please make sure you be paying attention to the graphics coming down here. But yeah, shoot out that website. What's that website?
It's www.robertwlucas.com. That's ROBERTWLUCAS.com.
Good.
And all of I write 3 blogs. I write a nonfiction writer blogs because I do a lot of authoring things. One of my books is on how to make money writing books. I also have a customer service blog because the customer service book I mentioned earlier, my background is in customer service. And I also have a creative training blog because I've been doing brain-based learning and creative training for 40-some years now. In addition, all of my social media links are on my website as well. I have a Facebook account, Robert W. Lucas, book author at facebook.com is the address.
Good.
And then I have a LinkedIn account where I have a profile, and I also have, if any of you are trainers, I have a creative trainer network, and we have about 3,500 members. So that can be linked to through my LinkedIn account, which goes through my website.
Well, guys, this is World 2016. We are with Robert W. Lucas, author of 231 Ways to Say I Love You and Mean It. We'll be right back here in World 2016.